cut that hair yet. Don't apply that relaxer yet. Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and in this video I'm going to tell you everything my encounter with lice, how I was able to combat it. I'm going to tell you my story, all my remedies I was able to put, the suggestion people made, and the one that actually worked for me. Okay, so let's go right into it, shall we? So in 2019, for the first time, I caught lice, and by extension, I transferred it to everyone in the family. I mean, all the females that had their hairs on in the family. It was very frustrating, I must tell you. I mean, having to, you're struggling to eat, and another animal is busy eating the food. And not even just that, the discomfort that comes with having lice is, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not funny. It's not funny, honestly. So in 2019, I visited the salon. um I visited the salon, and just somehow, I wouldn't know that if it's from the salon, or I wouldn't even know where I got it from, because at the time I had my combs, so I don't know how it actually came about. So I got that, and the experience was me scratching almost all of the time. I had a lot of discomfort. Sadly, I passed it on to everybody in the house, and it was very frustrating. So in my quest for remedy, I had a lot of suggestion. Some people suggested that I used sniper, which is very toxic for human being. Some people suggested that I used sniper, others suggested I used kerosene, others suggested I used shampoo, I used relaxer, others suggested I used comfort naphthalene, others suggested I used hot comb, others suggested I used stretcher, others, like, there were a lot of suggestions. A lot of, but the one that actually stood out for me was somebody suggesting to me to use sniper. It could be that bad. The discomfort is actually very bad. So one of the remedies I used at first was camphor naphthalene. I'm sure you must have come across a ball of it. So what I did at the time was, I was instructed to crush it into powder and then apply to my hair and cover it for some time with airtight proof, like something like a nylon or a waterproof. Okay, so I did that, and my head was on fire. I must be honest with you, it was not easy. My head was literally hot. Like, I'd never thought that comfort can be that hot for the first time. So that was my experience. But after, like, I covered the hair for like at least an hour 30 minutes. So by the time I was done, I combed out my hair and actually saw dead lice. So it worked, but the process, if you are not somebody that can endure pain, or maybe you are not sensitive to camphor, you can try it. But I have to tell you what is involved. It was actually very hurting for my scalp. I wouldn't know if yours would be better experience or not. So that is what it is, having to use camphor. After comfort, I proceeded to using kerosene, because I wouldn't want to have a remnant that will have a recurrence, like maybe an egg that died, that didn't die, that hatched, and eventually everything starts afresh. So I had to proceed to using kerosene. I also did the same thing, applied the kerosene on my root, that is my scalp, and on my hair, the one that was remaining at the time, and that one is also very hurting. Although I didn't really see much, maybe because a lot of the lice had died at my previous procedure, so I didn't see much. But I must tell you that the kerosene was also very hot on my scalp. So if you want to try it, so you know what you are going in for, but it also works. Okay, so if it can hurt your scalp, it means it also has effect on the lice. The third is, after I tried both of them, The lights had gone, but a lot of more suggestions were actually coming. Somebody else also suggested that instead of doing separate naphthalene, that is camphor and kerosene, I could actually combine them. That is, after crushing the camphor, you put it into a volume of kerosene, and after that you apply it on your scalp and on your hair, and you cover it for a certain for like an hour 30 minutes. The longer you can stay, okay, but the longer you stay, the more the effects on the lice. So you cover it for some time, and when you are done, you comb out the lice and you wash your hair and you are free. So that also works. If you want to try it, remember your scalp and how sensitive it is, and know your pain threshold. If you can hold it for a long time, that could also be a good solution to lice infestation. So for this second lice infestation encounter, I would advise to use mentholated spirits. That was the first time I was hearing it, and I tried it. Before now, I hear people say you can use mentholatum. That is the ointment. I tried it one time. It only gives this hotting effect, and at the end, you will just see heat all over your head, and the lice is there sitting pretty and enjoying itself. So it really didn't work. That is the ointment. But while I tried the spirit, how I did it was that I was instructed, just like others, to apply it on my head and then wrap a nylon or a waterproof over my hair and sit pretty for some time, possibly 1 hour 30 minutes. Like I did mine, I actually slept overnight. Okay, so you can stretch depending on the limits of when you want to. Remember, the more you stay, the better. All right, so I poured the stuff over my head and I slept with it overnight. So by the next morning, while I combed out so I'm this kind of person that I actually do not like retouched hair. Before now, in secondary school or in my early university days, I had always done relaxed hair. But after my university education, I actually do not fancy relaxed hair anymore. I enjoyed my afro hair like a whole lot. It's dark, it's stretchy, like it's everything. So when the suggestion of me having to apply relaxer on my hair was something I was thinking about. I was like, does it mean after I am done, I'm going to have my retouched hair? But I didn't want that, so relaxer was out of the way. Relaxing has also proven to be very helpful, especially for those who wouldn't mind having their hair retouched or relaxed. Okay, the chemical in relaxer also helps to kill lice. So if you don't want, or if you want to retouch your hair, if you don't want to have your natural hair anymore, you can also try relaxer. It actually works. It works a whole lot, because I've seen people who actually had lice infestation using relaxer to rid it off. So relaxer is a good bet if you want your hair to be relaxed after the process. Okay, now another suggestion I had during my tormenting period with lice infestation was using sniper. Now sniper is actually very poisonous. It's actually very toxic to human health. So I didn't even think about it, because I know the impact, the health impact of sniper. It can be very, very dangerous. So I wouldn't advise anybody to try it. If in case you've heard it before, I don't think it's okay. Even if it hurts or it risks your head off the lice, it will have health impacts on your head later, or even in your like your head. Okay, so sniper is totally out of the way for me and for anybody else that cares about their health. Another one would also be you having to enter a dryer or using hot comb or just some kind of hot stuff on your hair. But remember, these animals or these parasites, yeah, they're animals. They are very adaptive. They have already they know their way all around your head. and they know how to survive any condition you want to subject them to. So I tried it. I tried using a stretcher, hot stretcher. I tried entering dryer, but you remember, if the heat is right here, they'll be running down to this side out. So they have adaptive mechanisms on your hair. However, if you can withstand heat, great heat, and maybe you're able to turn this way, your hair is going to tell you. Of course, at the end of the day, you can turn this way. If you can withstand the heat, that is also another way to deal with it. You enter dryer, and for some minutes to hours you are out and everything is fine, but remember, it's usually hot, so you can try it. Another one I've also learned about is using hot comb or stretcher. Okay, it has actually proven to be very useful or very helpful. However, the person treating your hair, you have to let the person know why, so that the person knows um how to actually go about the whole thing. Because remember, if you are stretching like this, the way this parasite survives on your hair, I tried it, and by the time the person had gotten like stretched to this side, I was already hearing another scratch here, so this parasite can survive and have different, like I told you, adapting mechanism to thrive on your hair. So if you have somebody that can actually tackle, like, go through it using hot stretcher or hot comb or just anything harsh hot on your head, but remember, it still has to have impact on your scalp. Okay, and like I told you, this parasite is very adaptive. It has a lot of mechanisms that it has to survive on your hair. Okay, and most times you end up hurting yourself instead of the parasite. So if you have somebody who is skilled in that regards to remove lice using hot comb or stretcher, a hot stretcher, that could also be a good bet. Okay, now I've also learned of a special comb for lice eggs. Remember, the eggs of lice are sticky to the hair, so combing alone does not really get rid of the egg. Okay, so there's this special comb for lice that also helps to get rid of the egg from the hair, so to avoid reoccurrence. Okay, again, recently I learned of a drug, ivermectin. I don't know if you've come across it or you've used it. So in case you have lice infestation, you can try it. I saw a lot of testimony concerning the drugs and the effects it has on the lice. Okay, so a lot of people say that the drug ivermectin is also very effective, so you can try it. And you let us know in the comment section how your experience was with the drug. So finally, having lice, like I told you, can be very ugly. It could be a very foul and ugly experience. However, like they always say, prevention is better than the cure. Now you have to be very careful not to get it, because tackling it can, like I told you, can be painful. So you don't want to go through the pain of having to deal with lice. Okay, so you have to be careful of your personal comb. You have to get your personal comb. You have to possibly get your personal hairdresser, because sometimes when you go to a public place and you tell them use my comb, they will end up, after using your own, maybe to carry the one on their head and put on your own head. So you have to also be cautious of that fact, and you have to be very intentional about your hair, and don't let anybody touch your hair with any other comb, because I've also discovered that even when you have your comb, um when you go to some public salons, they will tend, after they use your own comb, they will still carry the one on their head, maybe by subconsciously carry it and comb your hair. You can also get it transferred that way. So that will be all for our video today, and this will be me saying bye bye till I see you again.